first thing I do, you don't have to do in this particular order, but all of these things have to be covered one way or another. When I come in as a route driver, have a flashlight or headlamp, check that the lock and teeth are engaged of your tailgate. Walk over to the battery box. You can do this on or off the clock. Everyone's different. Turn on the battery box. Check your power steer fluid and your cool level. As I'm doing that, take a quick glance at all your lines in your valve body. Make sure nothing's leaking. Next, I'm going to check the engine oil. Full. If you're a route driver, you know your assigned truck, if it was fueled or not the night before, but you might get a spare relief. Guys, you never know what truck you're driving. Check the diesel level physically, put a light in there and take a look. Next, turn on the truck. Give it a few seconds. Run its diagnostic. Turn on the truck. Turn on your headlights. Turn on your hazard lights. Turn on your PTO, hopper lights, and strobe light. That's some kind of tire knocker. A lot of us use these wheel bars for the auto parts. A lot better to gauge the pressure of the tire with some kind of tire knocker, not your foot. So for each tire in the morning on the pre-trip, hit it. Check each lug nut for each tire. It's tedious, but you know you're square, good to go in the morning. You don't want to lose a tire. You don't want to have a catastrophic failure. Put your life or someone else's life in danger. Check each lug nut. As you're walking around, make sure all your lights are operating, your reflectors are intact. Equipment, external equipment, step ladder secure. Take a quick glance in the dark with your light. Your arms have no leaks. Your hydraulic is stowed away. Everything's normal. All your components, just take a quick glance. Not getting too much into components. As you're checking your first set of drives, depending on the model, check that the frame and hopper body bolts are secure. Quick glance in the dark, headlamp, flashlight, just a quick glance. Check each lug nut, hit each tire, make sure they're inflated. I use 2 hits to make it quick. Do your walk around, check your cylinder to back for the tailgate, check the hydraulic lines, real quick glance. Light works, no leaking, no hydraulic. Passives work, brake lights on. Strobe light works. Toolbox closed, everything's intact. DOT bumper's fine. Reflector stickers are intact. License plate light, license plate intact. We're going to do the same thing with the tires. Also, another thing, quick glance in the dark. Check your leaf spring suspension quickly. Take a look. And check your U-bolts and that they're connected. Take a glance as you're doing your pre-trip. Shovel secured. Lights, flashes working, reflector attached. Fire hydrant secured properly. Fire hydrant level in the green. Good to go. Check your hydraulic fluid. Some of these are hard to read. I understand. Some of them have a gauge that's easily readable. This one's hard to tell. Sometimes you can put a flashlight in it and at least gauge if there's some at the bottom or even at the top. You can't tell. What I usually do on these older ones, not drop the cap, and you can take the chain and see if the chain is wet with hydraulic oil. You can roughly estimate. This one might be low because I don't see it. It's barely wet. Usually if the level's about here, right, if you can't read it through the gauge, you have oil on the chain, then you're at level. So probably want to fill this one up, top it off on the older style window gauges for hydraulic oil level. All right, we check externally our pre-trip. Also, we'll have oil, put a flashlight in it, check the oil in the morning on the steers. Stick the flashlight in here, you can see the shadow level in the dark. Walk around, check your warning lights, headlights, turn signals. Take a quick glance. No foreign objects around the tail. Most of you, I used to clock in after that. I would warm up, check the external. Everyone's different, up to you. Come back in. In whatever order you want. Check the packer blade. Hit auto pack. Next, I'm going to do a tug test and a camera check to make sure that the backup camera screen works. I put it in reverse with the parking brake gauge. Check that the camera turns on. Tap the accelerator. Make sure the truck doesn't move. That means your brakes are fully calibrated, that they're hold on tight. A reverse tug test. Now go put it in drive. Tap the accelerator, do a forward tug test. If there's no movement, then they're fully adjusted completely, your brakes are fine, and you're ready to go. It's realistically what we expect here. All those covered in whatever order or fashion you want. Before you clock in, half of it after you clock in, or all of it only on the clock, however you want to do it. We want to see you cover all of those bases. The difference between pre and post trips at the end of your day, the difference is you will not check the engine oil, but you're going to check the transmission oil after you've been running it all day post trip. The transmission needs to be hot, the oil needs to be hot, then you'll be able to get an appropriate gauge on the transmission oil level. So check it only on the post trip, and on the pre trip while it's cold it will not give you an accurate reading. Also, you're going to cab up on your post trip. Have the cab fully up. Normally the engine's running, or you can shut it off. I have the engine off just so you can audibly hear what I'm saying. I'm going to look down here, look at my brakes, look at the pads, see how much meat I got left on those pads. 1/4 inch or more is pretty good. Look at your steering column, making sure all your components are intact. Look at your leaf spring suspension. Nothing's cracked, nothing's misaligned. They're all lined up. Look at your U-bolts. Make sure everything's intact. Take a scan, a glance. Look at all your components. Check your engine block. Make sure it's not leaking oil. For instance, this coming off the turbo, it's pretty long-term, slow, light oil leak. Has gunked up over here. Maybe something that needs to be written up. Maybe the seal in here needs to be changed out. That should be clean. Shouldn't look like that. Look at your engine block. Look at the head gasket. Nothing leaking out of the engine block. Everything's intact. Check your belts. They're all attached. Everything looks good. Nothing loose. Probably preferably have the engine running, shut off, then cab up. That'll give you a true assessment of how tight all your belts are. Walk around, continue, do the same thing on the other side. Pretty much the same thing on the other side. Take a look at your frame, quick glance, all your bolts, everything's intact. Take a look at your steering column. That's intact, everything looks fine. That pretty much sums up on the post trip.